NEBOSH love to ask questions about human factors. It's really important that you know the difference between the three types of human factors and you're able to recognize these in your NEBOSH scenario. My name is Will Taylor and I've been delivering NEBOSH courses for a very long time, and I used to be an examiner for NEBOSH, and I've marked many questions about human factors. Let's take a look at this question here. We see similar questions come up repeatedly, but here we have what organizational factors could have contributed to the accident? And then below that we've got B, what individual human factors of workers could have contributed to the accident? So two questions, one's on organizational, one's on individual. And if you know human factors, you'll know that number 3 is job factors. One of the first misunderstandings that you need to get out of your head is that human factors is not the same as individual human factors. You see, a lot of people seem to think that because a human is a person, then a human factor is the same thing as an individual human factor. No. You're getting confused, my friend. What is a human factor? A human factor is something which influences human behavior or human performance. So according to the HSE, it's the organizational, the job factors, the environmental factors, or the individual personal characteristics which influence human behavior or human error or human performance. So it's basically what are the things which cause you to make mistakes, which influence you to break rules or to commit errors or lapses or something like that. Now, when you're answering these types of NEBOSH questions, you need to read the question carefully, because if it says individual human factors, one of the common mistakes is people waffle on about organizational factors. And that might be correct, but it's the correct answer to a completely different question. If the question is asking about individual human factors, only individual human factors are going to get marks. Similarly, if it's asking about job factors, only job factors are going to get marks. So what's the difference? Well, an organizational factor is something that's done by the organization. Yes, the organization. So things that are determined at the organizational level. I mean, it's organization-wide, it's senior management, that kind of thing. What examples have we got of organizational factors? Well, we've got the health and safety culture is organizational wide. We've got staffing issues, the amount of human resource, the amount of people that are employed. Do we have enough people? Budgets, health and safety policies, and roles and responsibilities across the organization. The organization's commitment to health and safety, which might be a big commitment or it might be a very poor commitment. The amount of money the organization is willing to invest in achieving good safety performance. Those are organizational factors. Job factors, we're kind of like zooming in a little bit. A job factor is going to zoom in on a work location, which could be an office or a production hall or a workshop. It's going to be a location and the environment within that location. And it's the task within that location. And it's the equipment which is used in that location. And it's how the work is managed in that location. So it's like the level of supervision for that task in that area. It's going to be the procedures or the SOPs, the instructions for the task in that location. So examples of job factors which can cause accidents could be things like the environment. Say it's too dark, it's too noisy, it's cluttered, it's untidy. It could be that the task itself is complicated, it's complex, it's demanding. It's very easy to make a mistake on this task. It's very sensitive, very easy to get it wrong. It may be that instructions for the task are unclear, or there are steps that are out of place, or the instructions are just not workable in real life. You know, when you've got your instructions, but it's like that just doesn't work. It could be the equipment or the tools. The equipment might be in bad condition. The equipment might be complicated to use, difficult to use, heavy. It might have poor instructions on how to use it. It might be faulty, intermittently faulty. And then when we get down to individual human factors, we are zooming in again and to the person. Now, big mistake to avoid here. An individual human factor is not the same thing as what a person does. It's not an action. It's not a mistake. It's not a behavior. It's a personal characteristic. For example, if you have a vehicle driver driving and playing on their phone at the same time, playing on their phone is not an individual human factor. That is an unsafe behavior, yes, but the individual human factor is the personal characteristic which causes them to play on their phone. For example, they could be easily bored or easily distracted, or they're addicted to their phone in some way. See, an individual human factor is something about them. So it's a personal characteristic. It's not something they're doing. The personal characteristics influence their behaviors, influences their decisions, but their decisions are not their personal characteristic. So for example, age is a personal characteristic. Inexperience, being mature or immature, they're personal characteristics. Your health, whether you're healthy or got a disability or you've got a cold, a disease of some kind, whether you are tired, that's a personal characteristic, although it's a temporary personal characteristic. It could be your level of risk perception. You know, say, do you recognize high risks? Like, do you think all the risks are low? And you're just one of those. It's like, oh, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. If you're a it'll be fine kind of person, that's a personal characteristic, which will lead to you making poor decisions and probably hurting yourself, or even worse, hurting somebody else. So just remember, an individual human factor is something about the person, their attitude, their personality, something about their physique, and so on. Organizational human factors are things at the organization's level, senior management, and it's usually organizational wide, which then influences human behaviors by putting pressure on people. And same thing for job factors. Job factors are things in the immediate working environment which make things difficult, perhaps, and cause you perhaps to make mistakes or take shortcuts or do things in a way you shouldn't really do them. I hope that makes sense. Remember, you need to know the difference between the three human factors, and most importantly, just read the question, will you? Because if it says organizational human factors there, you better be sure that you only put down organizational human factors, or you ain't getting any marks, my friend.